these soldiers was received and threatened by their officers, and with indignation by Caesar himself, who spake to them thus: These Jews, who are only conducted by the madness, do everything with care and circumspection. They contrive strategies and lay ambushes, and fortune gives success to their strategies, because they are obedient and preserve their goodwill and fidelity to one another, while the Romans, to whom fortune used to be ever subservient by the reason of their good order and ready submission to the commander, have now had ill success by the contrary behaviors, and by not being able to restrain their hands from action, they have been caught that which is most to be reproached. They have gone out without their commanders in the very presence of Caesar. Truly, says Titus, the laws of war cannot be grown heavenly, as will my Father also himself, when he shall be informed of this wounded that have been given us. It says, since he who is grown old in war did never make so great mistake, our laws of war do also ever inflict capital punishment on those that in the least break into order, while at this time there have been an entire army ran into disorder. However, those that have been so insolent shall be made immediately sensible that even they who conquer among the Romans without order for fighting are to be under disgrace. When Titus had enlarged upon this matter before the commander, it appeared evident that he would execute the laws against all those that were considered. To these soldiers' minds sunk down into despair, as expected to be put to death, and that justly and quickly. However, the other legions came around about Titus and entreated his favor to these their fellow soldiers, and made supplications to him that he would pardon the rashness of a few on account of the better obedience of all the rest, and promised for them that they should make amends for their present faults by their more vicious behaviors for the time to come. It says, so Caesar complied with the desires and with the prudence dedicated to him also, for he esteemed it fit to punish single persons by real execution, but that punishment of great multitudes should proceed no further than reproof. So he was reconciled to the soldiers, but gave them a special charge to act more wisely for the future, and considered with himself how he might be even with the Jews for their strategies. And now, when the space between the Romans and the war had been leveled, which was done in 4 days, as he was desirous to bring the baggage of the armies with the rest of the multitude and followed them safely to the camps, he set the strongest parts of his armies over against the wall which lay on the north quarter of the city, and over against the western part of it, and made his army 7 deep, and the footmen placed before them, and the horsemen behind them, each of the last in their ranks, while the archers stood in the midst of the 7 ranks. Now the Jews were prohibited by so great a body of men from making sallies upon the Romans. Both the beast and the bearing of burdens had belonged to the 3 legions, and the rest of the multitude marched on without any fear. But as for Titus himself, he was but about 2 furlongs distance from the wall, at the part of it where was the corner, and over against that tower which was called Siphanus, at which tower the compass of the wall belonging to the north bended and extended itself over against the west. It says, but the other part of the army fortified themselves at the tower called Titus, and was distanced in like manner, but 2 furlongs from the city. However, the 10th legion continued in its own place upon the Mount Olives.
Okay, so yeah, so that was the end of chapter 3, War of the Jews, page 552. So Lord willing, next week we'll continue and try to get in, you know what I'm saying, just to get that history in. Alright, it's good to know. Alright, so with that we're gonna say Shalom. Alright, Deb to Esau, Kwam Yasha Allah.